It is Friday, March 12th. It is the third week of Lent. Today's reading is from the Gospel of Mark. One of the scribes came to Jesus and asked him, "Which is the first of all the commandments?" Jesus replied, "The first is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment than these." The scribe said to him, "Well said, teacher. You are right in saying, He is one and there are no other than He, and to love Him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is worth more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices." And when Jesus saw that he answered with understanding, he said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And no one else dared to ask him any more questions. Well, we've had a few Fridays now where we've asked you to do some things. The first Friday, we asked you to pray for that one relationship that is a problem for you, just to pray for that individual. Last week, we asked you to name the moment, name the instance, name the problem that has disrupted your relationship. Today's the hardest one. Today's probably the one that's going to cause the most angst for you, anxiety. I'm going to ask you to put pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, and compose a letter to that person. And in that letter, express your thoughts about that relationship. Go back to prior to this event. What was that relationship like? Talk about that in this missive, this letter. Then just don't focus on the event much. Just say, this is when that relationship came into problems, came into a disruption. And finally, ask that you and this individual come together again, that you get beyond this, that you move forward and let old hurts be forgotten, gotten rid of. One of the hard things we have in our society is that we have this habit of talking behind people's backs. But how about if we go and behind their back start to think about them in a positive way? This is what this little challenge today is, to write this letter. And I want you just to take, if it takes today, if it takes all weekend, it takes all week, write it. And then next week, we'll talk about what we'll be doing. But for now, think about what you've been through. Praying for that individual, acknowledging the disruption, and now communicating through pen and paper, through computer, composing that missive, that letter. It is part of how we will begin to see Christ present. If we love God as much as we do, with our whole heart, with our whole soul, with our whole being, we have to do the second part as well, to love our neighbor as ourself. This is the process. Participate in it. Let it be a part of what you do to see God present in your life. Have a good weekend.